Hello, I'm pleased to welcome Markus Schiffers, Managing Director and Deputy CEO at Orbian. Welcome, Markus.
Hi, François. How are you?
Fine, fine. Maybe a first question for you. What are the core principles of supply chain finance and how have they evolved in today's economic environment?
Okay, so the core principles of supply chain finance in simple terms is that a buyer of goods and services and a supplier of those goods and services come together and use a third-party solution, supply chain finance, to optimize the way they work together when it comes to the payment term that they agree and the cash flows between those two. So those are untouched. And in the current environment, these fundamentals still hold up. And after COVID, for example, there have been very clear analysis that suppliers and buyers that are using supply chain finance recover quicker from these crises, let's say. And with that, and this academic research that has been published on the outcome, it gave a very good standing to supply chain finance, and it maintains this great standing. Now, the current environment is slightly different from others because it looks like changes are coming faster. And this is probably what is changing people look at supply chain finance, because supply chain finance is a super resilient, very sustainable way of working together between buyer and supplier. And now this gets a little bit challenged just by the speed of changes that we're seeing.
And Markus, how are current geopolitical and market disruptions reshaping demand for supply chain finance solutions?
Yes, so as I was mentioning earlier, the speed of those changes and those disruptions in this current market environment is really what has been impacting the way supply chain finance is offered in these days. So rather than having a solution in the market like we had for the last 20 some years, where a buyer needs to negotiate longer payment terms or different payment terms with a supplier in order to get a positive impact on its working capital, and was using supply chain finance, what that means, there's now a different way how this is happening. So in the new current environment, there's a very strong demand for a solution where a buyer can extend the payment term without negotiation with the suppliers and hence without procurement involvement. And this solution, what we call payment with terms, allows now a buyer to more quickly react on changes in the market environment. Be it that there is a shift of a supply chain, be it that there's a new tariff, be it that there's a new shock through some war. And this solution is hence very, very trending, and is probably now in combination with supply chain finance offering the solution that in the past supply chain finance only was supposed to bring. But supply chain finance standalone for many players in our markets is not quick enough anymore to react on these constant changes that are evolving.
So Markus, Orbian is natively embedded in SAP environments. What does it mean in practice for Treasury teams?
Yes, we are natively embedded in SAP. We have been founded by SAP and Citibank 26 years ago. And having a payment method embedded in every SAP system globally that allows a treasurer or a company to configure a solution that can send payment instructions to us in a very protected environment is a huge benefit for us. So when somebody decides to take our supply chain finance or payment with term solutions, there is no need to implement any third-party software on the client system. There's no need to do any work by third parties behind your firewalls, because this is something nobody really appreciates. And rather, it's a configuration of a standard solution in SAP that allows our clients to transact with us. And this is a huge benefit, especially in Europe.
I can imagine it's a great advantage. So, Markus, thanks a lot for this insightful answers and comment. Thank you very much to you and to Orbian.
Thank you, François.